Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about why I joined the Navy. As some of you might know, I joined the Navy back in June of 2021. It is now September of 2023. So I wanted to tell you guys why I joined and give you guys some insight on why you might want to join if you're on the fence about it. So I broke this video up into a couple parts. I have some notes here on my phone, so if you see me looking down, that is why. I wanted to start with my background, and then I'm going to move into the three main reasons why I joined the Navy. So that's going to be education, stability, and self-improvement. All right, let's jump right into this. So I first wanted to start with my background. I was born on the Naval Base in Groton, Connecticut. My father was a Navy sailor. He was a nuke and ended up getting out of the Navy as a chief. I have lots of other family members who are also in the Navy at one point or another, who either were in the past or still are. Along with that, I had a lot of other family members in different branches, like the Marines, the Army, all that, but majority was the Navy, so I kind of was slightly influenced by that, you could say. I do also want to preface and say that I never wanted to join the military. Absolutely never. I've always wanted to be a doctor or a surgeon of some kind, so joining the military was just like not on my radar. I thought it was stupid. I thought, why would I do that? I want to go to school. And if you're in the military, you can't really go to school. I also was under the impression that if you joined the military, you were dumb. No matter how many of my family members were in it, who were really, really smart, didn't matter. I was like, people who join the military right after high school are the people who aren't smart enough to get into college. I want to tell you this right now. That is simply not true. All right, so let's get into the three reasons of why I joined, starting with education. As I said, I knew I wanted to go to college, but the question was, how? I was a senior in high school and I was realizing like, wow, I'm gonna have to pay for college soon and I have no money to do that with. So what am I gonna do? Of course, I was working full time, but with my awful spending habits that I'm still slowly transitioning out of, I knew saving up for college was just like something that felt so impossible. So how was I going to pay for college was my first question. I knew that if I joined the military, they could help me out. So that was the main reason I joined the Navy at first. I knew they had a program in which I could apply for medical school and they would pay for it, and I would give them however many years it took me to finish medical school back and serve in the military. That was my plan from day one. It's still my plan now, actually. And actually, they helped me with other things such as college tuition for my gen eds and undergrad and all that jazz. But anyway, that was the main reason. I also knew that the military had education systems of their own, which I learned after talking to a recruiter. I had no idea that this was a thing until I talked to somebody. When you join the Navy, you have to go through a bunch of training. I'm sure you guys have heard of boot camp, right? Most people assume boot camp is mostly physical activity, having to do a gazillion push-ups a day, and crying yourself to sleep, and running a bunch of miles. While it is some of those things, there is other parts. So there's classroom time, actually. You sit in a classroom and you learn about the Navy. You learn about history, you learn about ships, you learn about how to conduct yourself in the Navy, you learn about the Navy's core values and ethos and all of that jazz. You learn so much about naval history and the currency in the Navy. You also have to go to this special little place called A School once you graduate boot camp. That is the place where you're gonna learn how to do your job in the Navy. My job in the Navy is a corpsman, so I do medical things, right? Which is exactly what I wanted. I knew that it could potentially give me a slight edge over people who I was competing against in med school. So I went to corps school, and this is where I learned so much. I learned basic medicine, I learned basic anatomy and physiology, I learned how to take care of patients, I learned bedside manner, I learned a bunch of different treatments for a bunch of different things. And now that I'm in college, I'm taking anatomy and physiology and I'm like, wow, like I already know so much of this. My boyfriend is in nursing school and there's some things that he goes over and I'm like, wow, I learned that in corps school. So it's just kind of crazy to think like I got so much education out of my first year in the Navy, which most people don't know happens. I also have the opportunity to learn while working. So right now I'm on active duty orders. I am technically a reservist, so this order type is called ADSW. If you're curious, you can Google it. I'm not going to go into it in this video because there are so many different types of orders you can get as a reservist and it's just way too much to handle. But anyways, I've been active duty for a year now. Well, it'll be a year in October, so almost a year. While on the job, I've learned so much. While you're on orders, you get to learn through experience. You have people who are above you and who are so excited to teach you all the different things so that way they don't have to do it anymore. And that's just the honest truth. So they'll teach you how to do basic things like blood draws, how to organize patient records, whether that be the real paper records or digitally. They'll teach you how to use different medical online programs. There's this program called MERS that you get to learn when you're on active duty orders. Some reservists have access to it too. There's just a bunch of different things that you get to learn while you're working, which is insane. You also have to re-up your certifications almost every year to every other year, depending on what it is. So for example, I do different kinds of immunization trainings every single year. I learn about all kinds of immunizations such as hepatitis B, MMR, varicella, all that jazz, but I also get to learn the ones that maybe not everybody gets to learn about. I get to learn about rabies and malaria and yellow fever. Along with that, I get to do this cool training called TCCC, Tactical Combat Casualty Care. I actually am a TCCC instructor for Tier 1, which you probably will also get if you're on active duty orders and your command needs you to teach other people how to do TCCC. So this is the cool stuff where you're in the field and you get to learn how to use a tourniquet and pack a wound and use a chest seal and all that fun stuff that you wouldn't normally get to learn if you're in, let's say, nursing school or learning how to become a doctor. Field medicine stuff, basically. So I hope that gives you a good understanding of all the crazy things educational-wise I got to learn coming into the Navy, which is honestly a blessing, to be fair. I've learned so much, I've absorbed so much, and that's exactly what I wanted out of my military experience, is I wanted to learn. The next section of why I joined the military is for stability. Now, in our economy, I know it can be hard for people to find jobs. For example, I have a family friend who has a bachelor's degree and he can't find work, which is insane to me. You work so hard on getting an education and you can't find a job here. I will always have a job in the Navy as long as I'm able-bodied, which is great. Along with that, I also get this monthly stipend called BAH. BAH stands for Basic Housing Allowance. This is money that is added on in addition to your regular pay that helps to pay your rent or mortgage, which is fantastic. Not many jobs have that. I also have the opportunity to retire at the 20-year mark. Now, I joined the Navy at 18. It's technically 17 when I signed the papers, but I left at 18 for boot camp, which is when my military career started. And I can technically retire at 38 years old. Not many people can say that, but that is the truth. If I go 20 years, I can retire and I'll get a monthly paycheck from the military that says, thank you so much for your service. Here's your money, here's your retirement, this is a pension. Again, not many people can say that. The stability of the military and the Navy especially is so insane. All right, next portion, self-improvement. So I don't normally like to talk about this, but I was very, very self-conscious in high school. I knew that there was something missing in my life. I knew that it felt like there was something I had to prove. It felt like I made myself feel like nobody was proud of me because I wasn't doing anything exceptional. I was just going to high school and working, and I wanted to go to college, but I didn't know if I could get into college because I didn't know if I could afford college. I didn't know if my grades were good enough. I didn't know anything. All I knew was that I wanted my parents to be proud of me. Not that they weren't, of course. I'm sure they were. But I just needed something more. And I feel like that's how a lot of people are feeling when they join the military. Like they need more stability. They need more opportunity. They need more education. They need more of something. And I needed more of something. I needed to be more self-assured. I needed to understand that I was capable of doing really hard things. And after I joined the military, and I went through boot camp, but I went through A school, and I'm here, I'm in the fleet, and I was in the reserves, and now I'm active duty, and I truly believe that I am so capable of doing so many hard things. And I didn't believe that for the longest time. I knew I needed something to feel proud of. And I am so proud of everything I have accomplished this far. I've only been in 2 years, just about, which isn't very long. This is the beginning of my career. I have an 8-year contract. I hopefully plan on retiring. Maybe we'll see, either with the reserves or active duty or even TAR, which is like kind of in between. You can Google it if you want. But yeah, I knew that I needed to prove to myself that I could do something extraordinary. Not many people are willing to, and I was willing to, and I exceeded my expectations. Honestly, I thought I would get to boot camp and I would crumble. I thought there's no way in hell I'm gonna be able to do it. But I did. I got to A school and everything was so hard. It felt like you were getting all of your information from like a fire hydrant and you were trying to drink out of it like you would a drinking fountain. But after A school and after boot camp, I realized like, wow, there were so many times where I doubted myself so much and I proved myself wrong. And if I can prove myself wrong and make myself proud, I know that I'm making my family and the people around me proud. And that was the most important part. And I didn't realize it at the time, honestly, that I had this hole that wasn't being filled. Until now, like reflecting and looking back, I'm like, wow, why did I join the Navy? But I think that might have outweighed the education, to be honest. I think I needed something to be proud of. But anyways, enough of me talking. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're thinking about joining the Navy, I highly suggest it. I think you'd have a blast. Honestly, it's a good opportunity. Even if you just join for the 4 years and you don't stay the full 20, it's no big deal. You're gonna meet some fantastic people. That's the other thing. Before I end this video, I wanna mention, you are never going to find the friends and friends that become family in any other situation but the military, because you guys are bonded together in a way that nobody else in this universe will understand until they go through it. I've met some of my most favorite people in the world through the Navy, and I will never, ever, ever take that for granted. Anyways, back to the outro. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, and if you want to, go ahead and subscribe. I will be posting Tuesdays and Fridays, so get excited. You'll see my face a little more often. If you have any questions about my military experience, whether that's why I joined the Navy, what my training was like, or anything like that, feel free to drop a comment down below. Maybe I'll start a series if you guys are interested. But anyways, I hope you have a good rest of your day. I will see you on Tuesday. Bye, guys.